Well, dear friends, we are live again, back in Merging Minds. Today, I'm extremely excited about today's session, and I'm going to tell you why. Like, I've been lately, seeing loads of comments and of things going on around people that are frustrated in our industry, right? And some people come and talk to me about their frustration and how they are like, hey, I don't like my job, I don't like this, I don't like that. And one of the things I end up talking about is like, if you're frustrated with your job, why don't you create your own job, right? Why don't you go out there and do your job? So for today's session, and this week I was going through LinkedIn and I read an article by one of my oldest industry friends, the one and only legendary Mladen Stoyak, who's here with me today. Brother, hello.
Hello, Javi. Hello, Javi.
So
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me and for
it's
inviting
a
me.
pleasure. No, it's a pleasure, brother. As I was saying, I was going through LinkedIn this week, and I saw your article. It resonated with me so much. So I was saying, like, a lot of the chats, the meetings, and the talks I'm having constantly, you hear from people that sort of, I want to say, the frustration. I don't like my job. I don't like whatever. And then I thought, like, and they ask me, can I do this? Can I do that? It's like, dude, why don't you sort of like go entrepreneurial? Why don't you start your own thing? And when I saw your article, man, I said, I need to talk to Mladen. I need to introduce, I need to interview you. I need to share your experience, brother. How are you doing, first of all?
First of all, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm quite busy during the last 2.5 months. I already have a feeling that summer was, I don't know, at least half a year ago. So being an entrepreneur has a flip side of the coin as well. So
All
you
right,
can
all
see
right.
that
But
from
it's cool. No, because the thing I love about you, brother, is that you never lose that smile upon your face. And that's amazing. And I love that about you. For those friends who are following, I know Mladen. When we were preparing this chat, we were counting how many years we know each other, and we know each other for almost 9 years since I started. Mladen and I, we worked. You were my client in my first company in this industry, and since then the rest is magic, right? And as I was
yes.
saying, I wanted to have you here today, my friend, because we want to dedicate to today's session to entrepreneurship and to a transformational journey, right? And well, before I continue talking, I want to pass the microphone to you, and I want to ask you, please, to introduce yourself for those who don't know you yet. So,
So as you said, my name is Mladen. I'm entrepreneur in translation industry for the last almost 20 years. This will be our 20th year on the market in the business, and I'm in charge of business side of the business. So I'm not a linguist myself. I have engineering and managerial background. Before becoming an entrepreneur, I had a corporate career. I used to work in a telecom industry in a big corporation, and I wasn't too happy with my job at that time, and I decided to quit and to start
that's
my
right, bro.
entrepreneurial journey together, of course, with my partner, with my life, and a business partner, Sandra. So
Oh, nice,
many,
nice,
many,
nice.
many of our friends from the industry know her as well. So she's actually driving force behind the company. I'm just a guy who's helping with some small and irrelevant things.
Dude, no, with your smile, your smile sells, brother. Your smile sells. I tell you, I tell you. So another thing, thanks for the intro, man. For those who don't know you, who are seeing us today, I thought I prepared a few questions to get to spark I want you, you're a very inspiring person, brother. So I prepared a few questions that I want to ask you today, because I want you to inspire people to open their minds, to open their reach, to consider entrepreneurship. And after reading, as I said, this article that you posted about, becoming like a transformational journey that you've been through and that you've realized now, right? So let me quickly ask you, my friend, what was that thing precisely that sparked your interest in becoming an entrepreneur? How was it? Like, you wake up one day, you say, like, I'm fucking tired of my job, I'm quitting. What was it? Tell me.
It was actually a gradual path. I wasn't too happy. I felt that I didn't have enough freedom in a corporate world, and I was at that time I was much younger. I was 20 years younger than I am now, so I wanted to have a more freedom, more free time for myself, more more freedom in terms of possibilities and innovations and things that I can do. I wanted to travel more on my own. I wanted to have a more free time as well. I wanted to develop myself as a person as well. That's one of the things that are driving me all the time during the last that drives me all my life actually. And I'm a long life learner, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can nowadays as well. So that's why I've written that article. Since for the last 6 months, I was part of one intensive training related to business coaching, and that was a kind of a transformative journey for me, because
Oh, nice.
I realized how much I've become biased by a certain behaviors, by a certain things related to business. I felt that, again, that I stuck at one frame, and that I want to get out of that, and I want to change something, and that I want to improve myself again. So,
I
and
guess I guess
considering and
I'm
considering and considering beginning of that journey, right now I have a feeling of fulfillment. I learned really a lot. People usually, after spending some years in business, they have a some kind of a mindset that they think that they know everything, that they cannot learn anything anymore, and I don't think that is true. So
it's funny. I like what you just said, my friend. Like, first of all, getting tired sparks creativity, sparks doing things. If you're tired, do it. And I love what you just said. I love what you just said about yourself, and how, because a lot of the people that are listening to us, I'm sure they feel reflected in those things you're saying about being judgmental and overly solution oriented, right? So how did the realization of being like that impact the way you started entrepreneurship, and especially because we like to talk a lot about leadership? How did that impact your leadership style, my friend? My friend.
yeah, being judgmental, I don't consider judgment as a good characteristic for a business leaders. I found myself in a situation that I somehow became answer delivering machine, and that was actually expectation for years in my environment, that I am the one who has the answers for all possible issues, and all possible world and life problem business problems. So this is something I realized through this training, that I need to change that, and I need to question a little bit my style, and my approach, and that I'm by nature, I'm really an open-minded person, and this is not my first characteristic. But somehow, over the years, uh, through the pressure of the environment, I become more judgmental, more solution oriented. And you probably know, since you spent a lot of time in sales, that when you are talking to clients and to people in general, uh, when they came to you with some issue or some problem, it is really think that the first issue is a real issue. And
Yeah.
if you try to dig deeper and to talk to people more, then you are able to extrapolate what
Yeah.
is the real issue for them, and only in that case you are able to try to find a solution. So
it's funny you mentioned this course, because for those following us today, Mladen has finished a PwC coaching course, correct, Mladen?
yes,
That
that's
is
correct.
like it's helped you. And sorry, but this is my bad. I should have mentioned this at the beginning.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
helped you mold the way you work. It's helped you mold the way the way you're leading your teams, and it's helped you. I mean, it's going to help you in the next step of your career by becoming a coach, right? So that's
Yeah,
why he was mentioning that. My
yes,
bad. Sorry,
yeah,
friends, for that. So
yeah.
it's very interesting what you say, my friend. Very interesting what you say. I feel very reflected in all your words, man. And one of the things that also sparked my curiosity was when I read your article and when I read what you were saying. You and this transformation thing that you're going down, this transformation journey you're going through now. There's one thing that you mentioned, and it's the importance of staying curious a little longer, right? It reminded me a lot of this quote by Steve Jobs: "Stay hungry, stay foolish," right?
Yeah.
On that speech he does. So how does, man? My next question is like, how has that impacted your approach to leading teams? How has just like being there, being curious, being approachable, being hungry, and doing new things impacted your style of leadership?
Yeah, that's one of the game changers I faced through the course, and actually, what tackled me most is that if we try to stay more curious, and if we acquire habit of asking more questions and seeking to understand perspectives, different perspectives, seeking to move people from one present situations one present situation where they get stuck into some other position. Things have completely changed, and that led us to embrace. And you mentioned Steve Jobs, and that is leading us to embracing beginners mindset, to change the culture of the organization, to adjust culture organization, because we nurture that culture in our organization, but we wanted to additionally improve that, and to bring more innovation, to get people to think more outside of the box, and to somehow adjust to dynamic environment which we are facing on a monthly
Yeah,
and daily, almost daily basis in
yeah,
our
a
industry, in
lot.
our business.
Yeah, a lot about taming your inner monster, right? About your
Yeah.
advice monster, and it sparked my curiosity as well, because I like recently I've been through a very, let's say, to a transformational journey recently. And it's technically that I've been in the United States for 3 weeks. I came back here 2 weeks ago, and I considered this last trip to attend Log World, to visit my community there, my friends, clients, etc. The conversations that I had, they became definitely a transformation journey for me, right? And one of the chats that I was having with one of my best friends as well, and this was reflected in your. I mean, I saw this reflected in your article about the importance of listening more and remaining quiet, listening more and remaining more quiet as well, right? So I wanted to ask you, because you speak about this there, about this in your article, and you notice as an important part of your transformational journey as an entrepreneur. How have you perfected your listening skills to become a much better leader and entrepreneur, my friend? How did you do that? Do you
When
practice
it
any
comes,
particular
yeah,
techniques? Yeah.
when it comes to listening, there are many different technicalities and different strategies in that sense. But in order to be more present, mindfulness is one of the techniques, just to anchor ourselves in a present moment, that we can be fully present when we are talking to someone, when we have a conversation with somebody, when we are listening the other person, and to include all our senses, to become more empathetic, to have a kind of a systematic kind of listening, to perceive environment, movements, body language, all other parts of our of our of our all moments during the conversation. That's something what can help us to be better listeners, and to get what we want from certain.
So this is something you learn in this coaching course lessons you did as well, right? To listen better
It's not something what I learned. It's something what I become more aware of, I would say so. And we did some technicalities there, but my opinion is that I'm a good listener indeed, and that some technicalities can help in a certain way to get our listening skills on a high level.
Yeah. Like people that work with you, they really love you, my friend. That's something that like those who have been working with you have been working with you for a long time. Those who are working with you always have a great word with you. Zana, your wife, a lot of this Christian guy that you does. So that speaks good. I trust you in listening, and thanks for that. Thanks for that advice. I am learning to listen more. For you looking out there, that we had this conversation. You know who you are. So thanks for mentioning that. It's important. It's important.
But important thing to mention is that the listening actually is a conscious effort. This is something that cannot be perfected. It can be improved over the time during the through experience, through doing different things, like as I mentioned, trying to find something what will anchor us in the present moment, what will help us to become more present and more focused on a person we are talking to. That's the basic that's the essence of the
so as much as important as it is to listen, is to manage the silence, right? The silences and
we all have a need to fill the silence with the word all the time. We are not feeling comfortable with the silence. That's the thing. That's human nature. That's something what we should have to be aware of. That we have to somehow anchor ourselves.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about one thing that also I hope resonates a lot with the guys and with everybody following us. By the way, there's an interesting question here, Mladen, you might want to answer. Lisa is asking, what is the name of the training course you did, So maybe you want to share it there, or share some book you read.
That's a business coaching diploma, BCD organized by PwC.
Coaching diploma. I'm writing it here as we speak. Diploma.
You know that I like certificates, diplomas, different things. So I needed one more piece of paper on my wall.
On your wall. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You see, guys. You see the smile this guy has. This is one of the few leaders in this industry that smiles all the freaking time. That's why people are happy to be around this guy. I was thinking as well about your journey, because honestly, like when I grow up, I want to be like you. I eventually want to become an entrepreneur. I'm sort of an entrepreneur because I'm building everything I do. I'm happily working in bureau works with some of my best friends, with Gabriel, with Rodrigo, with Hugo, with a lot of people, and they know that I'm entrepreneurial. I do these things. I try to follow a lot of times, Mladen, my intuition, which I've came to develop by my millennial life experience, right? I'm sure you've done you relied a lot in your intuition. You trusted a lot. Tell me some examples on how your intuition has positively or negatively sometimes affected your leading skills, your transformational journey, all these things you're doing now, my friend.
Yeah, when I was thinking about that question, I was thinking also about what you asked about examples. What I faced during my entrepreneurial life and during my career, and where I found that example is, for example, hiring people. On the first, maybe somebody does not fit with the formal requirements of a certain job opening, but your intuition tells you that that person could be a good fit in terms of corporate culture, company culture. We call it company culture here in our case, in terms of company culture, in terms of our values, in terms of fitting into the team. And that's the thing which completely relies on intuition. You don't have a guarantee that somebody who has a good things proven at the paper will fit good into the organization. It's about intuition. It's about having all three centers of intelligence aligned: brain, heart, and gut. So this is something what I found proof through the training, that all three centers of intelligence have to be somehow aligned, and this is something what I consider as a good example.
Like on my end, as a practical thing, like intuition, I think is key. Look, Gabriel points it out there. Intuition is key. I think is too. And you know what's also key? When you are betrayed by your intuition, don't follow that road. Change quickly. Boom. Get the fuck out as fast as you can. Right.
So
that's another part of fail often, fail fast, man. That's another part of. Yes, my friend. Yes. Move fast. That's good. Well, for those watching, please trust your intuition. Do it. Think. Don't overthink. Do things, and if it goes bad, go another way. There's always another way, right? I have more questions for you. I mean, we might not have to take a whole hour, but I think this has been an interesting interview, and you inspired me to think about more stuff. And when you went into when you consider coaching, because I mean, coaching, to me, coaching must come or comes from a moment, to me, in somebody's life, in a leader's life, especially in a leader's life, right? Because I believe that a coach should be a mentor, should be somebody that inspires you to do something, somebody that is at a level of intelligence and experience that, and I'm not talking about any age, any age. You know that I do things to fight ageism, so any age could do. But somebody that has lived through something and can really share at any age, right? Here's the thing that I was going to ask you. In your coaching style, being direct, because I know you are direct. I know you. You want something, you go, you tell it, you don't go around, which is cool. And not everybody does. Not everybody does, especially not everybody at a corporate level. How have you balanced this directness you have with non-direct approaches in your leadership style?
Sometimes it's not easy for me. As you mentioned, I'm very directive. I'm very solution oriented, and considering that the coaching isn't mentoring, isn't counseling. Coaching is advice-free zone. Coaching is a place where you are asking so-called powerful, open-ended questions, and somehow guiding or navigating coachee to, depends what coachee wants to. Sometimes it's a solution. Sometimes it's more clarity about certain issues or things, and at the beginning of this journey, it wasn't an easy task for me, because I had to suspend my advice master. I had to be quiet sometimes. I had to ask more questions. I had to use the power of silence in order to get something what coachee wants from a certain conversation. That's the key. And coaching has to be balanced in order to provide coachee what he wants, and guides a coachee to the destination, or to the goal, or to the topic where he wants to get more clarity, or in some cases even solution.
Yeah, there's another thing that I think we don't speak enough about in leadership, in coaching, and in all these topics, right? And it's I believe it inspired me. This question that I'm going to ask you, and I want you to elaborate, was inspired by what you wrote, and it's the fact of gratitude and expressing gratitude, right? To those you lead, to those you coach, to those around you. I try to say thanks all the time. I'm just so I'm so thankful that I even thank ChatGPT. Can you freaking believe it? Anyway, to the point.
I thank to ChatGPT every day. So.
Like, can you? Oh, thank you for that, right? But could
yeah, but the gratitude is something what we should express more often, and this is something what I've become more aware during the training, to acknowledge people for their openness, for their vulnerability. Sometimes we as leaders, we are afraid to show our vulnerability to the people. For a long time, I was somebody who has to be tough, has somebody who has answer to all questions, and somebody who has to guide people. But behind the curtain, I'm also a human being. I'm really vulnerable, and I was actually I'm sustained to show that, and suddenly I found myself in a position where I show vulnerability to the group of people which I met for the first time in my life. So that was mind-blowing discovery for me, and that's why I think that showing vulnerability, showing gratitude, being able to acknowledge people, to say thank you, as you said, during every conversation is a priceless thing. Is a priceless thing. We are saying thanks to the ChatGPT, but we are often not saying thanks to people, to their positive attitudes, to their openness to many things. And
I love that you say that.
I was in Tallinn yesterday, and I attended a beautiful presentation about emotions at work, in the age of AI, in the age of all these digital technologies, and presentations showed the differences between human strengths and technology strengths from the other side. Mm-hmm. So we have to emphasize, from my point of view, I fully agree, and we have to emphasize human strengths like emotional intelligence, creativity, innovation, understanding context, in our case in language industry, understanding context, wider context, critical thinking, for example.
Mm-hmm. I love that
ethics.
You mentioned it.
Ethics as well. Sorry
to have stopped you there, because I love it. For those of you who do not Mladen is a 2-meter tall guy. He's like amazingly like this amazing guy that is tall. It's like you don't mess with him, but that's not true.
And you mentioned that I'm
all loving this regard.
Can you imagine me crying?
It's all about love. It's all about that. And where I go to this, it was a joke, but what I get to this is like and I think you and me belong to a similar generation, right? You were born in the 70s, me in the early 80s. We are a generation that grew up in a context in which leadership it was like being tough, being the one that doesn't show vulnerability, being the one that is up there, boom, like, hey, like I remember asking one of my bosses like time ago, is like, what makes you a good boss? And he was like, the thing that you have all the answers. And I'm like, holy shit, if that's what makes you a good boss, we're fucked. Like literally, And I don't know, man. Like it's, but thankfully we're moving in this direction. That the point that the fact that you point this out, it's eye opening and it's cool for it's great to hear this, brother. It's great to hear this. Thank you for being like this. Thank you for being an advocate in opening, in showing vulnerability. I think I wrote about this in LinkedIn as well, and it got a lot of reactions from the people. So we continue doing like this, right? I have only two couple of more questions, my friend, and one is about another of the things that and it's I think it should be the key in personal growth, in leadership growth, in coaching growth, in whatever you want to talk about. But it's definitely the continuous learning. I got that idea from something that you wrote about. It pisses me off a lot when you hear people say, "Oh, like I was telling you," and I swear to God, I've heard this in this industry. I know that the boss has to know it all, meaning I'm on top. I know it all. I read sometimes, whatever, but yeah. Can you talk about your journey, your position towards continuous learning, how you're tackling this particular aspect?
When it comes to continuous learning, what I wanted to say, I wanted to connect to what you previously said and mentioned one of your bosses, and regarding leadership, his leadership style. One of the things, one of the best ideas I heard recently is that real leaders don't create more followers; they create more leaders, and that should be the main task of every leader. I think so. When it comes to development and the learning, I can see two different paths. One is professional development, and another is personal development. So in either case, we are growing. We are trying to become better version of ourselves, or the best version of ourselves as we can. So what else to say in that context? I don't know.
Oh my God, you remain quiet for a second. That's crazy, my friend.
Quiet, yes.
I love it. I love it.
Right.
I just have a couple more questions, my friend. I'm getting super good insights from your talk. I'm getting the importance of expressing gratitude, the importance of not stop to learn, showing vulnerability. I'm getting super interesting insights from you, man. Like also the part that you say that it's important to stay curious as well, right? And I'm guessing that if you live by these principles that, or you lead and you coach and you are living by these principles, how do you envision the future of your leadership journey, and how do you envision it?
My ambition is to become more holistic leader, to embrace coaching style leadership, to not to be directive, to ask more questions, to try to guide people to their own solutions. And what I realized that when people have their own solutions, they have a more accountability for them, and they have more responsibility and initiative to get things done. And in a second step, that produces better result in terms of business. And when it comes to my personal ambitions, I will continue this journey. Definitely, I will try to start with the coaching for now as a side gig for me. I will
Don't leave us. Don't leave us, eh? Don't
No,
leave
I
us,
will
man.
not.
Like,
I will not. I will
June.
not. I will not leave the industry. No worries. No worries. But I will try to implement coaching style leadership within the company, and I will try to. It doesn't mean that I will stop be data-driven guy, solution-driven guy. That I will somehow become.
And you better not stop smiling either, my man. Otherwise, you'll be in fucking trouble. Yeah. So sorry to have stopped because I was reading as we were chatting. That's a very cool question here by Mina. Recommend some books, my man. Recommend books. I can like I'm reading now, and this comes in regard on my end. I'm gonna I would like to recommend you Minette Norman's book. Inclusive exclusively bold leadership. Oh my God, I just forgot the name. Sorry about that. We're interviewing her here in 3 weeks on the 30th of that's a great book to learn about leadership. That's my recommendation. Mladen, any book you've read recently that you want to recommend?
I would recommend Positive Intelligence. I don't know. Have you read that book?
No, I haven't. I've been engaged with the autobiography of Greg Allman from the Allman Brothers.
Shizad Shamin, Positive Intelligence. I read a book, Boldly Inclusive Leader. I see.
The Boldly Inclusive Leader. That's it. I'm sorry, Minette, for having forgotten the name. But the Boldly Inclusive Leader. That's it.
Try with the Positive Intelligence. That's
the Positive Intelligence as well.
Yes, that's one of the book that one of the books which was eye opener for me, and through this book I become aware about my inner saboteurs.
Oh, anxiety, doubt,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Yes,
anxiety, man. It kills us all, right?
Yes.
Jesus,
I have, for example, I have a high achiever within myself, which doesn't allow me to stay calm and the important thing is to become aware about those little lurking voices within ourselves in order to easier handle them. So you know, yeah.
So even leaders suffer of anxiety.
We all should stop treating ourselves too serious. You know.
Yes, indeed, man. We're all gonna die at the end.
Yeah.
Like I'm loving it, man. Like you see, I love your approach to leadership. I love your approach to coaching. I love how you're envisioning the future. I think ideas like this and ways like you're doing should be shared. I ask you about the future. You promised me to be more empathetic, more thankful, more. I will check up with your people if he's been doing this. Guys, looking, I'm gonna check. Okay. So that's about the future. And I just have one more
Everybody's
question.
Looking. Everybody's looking.
Everybody's looking now, man.
Yeah.
And I only have one more question, and then I want to ask you because I always like to finish the interviews, the sessions with insights that people can take home, because they've taken. I think today we've spoken about gratitude, like we've recommended a couple of books, and a few other interesting things that people can take home when they watch this, or if they're watching now live. But look, I like the stop treating yourself too serious, my brother. That's it. We're not gonna die at the end. We're gonna die. That's it. We're there. We're not gonna die. But I want to ask you, please, Mladen, give us all like 2 or 3 takeaways. Like, what do you recommend? Like, what have you learned the most within this journey that you've completed with this coaching and these things you promised us to do to improve your leadership style and way of doing things?
I believe that we should all embrace growth mindset. That's the thing which enables us to become better listeners, that we become better people at first place, and then better leaders, and in that sense trying to make a world a little bit better place than it is. for me, big discovery, as I mentioned, was self-awareness about myself, about the things which I can, and that's the biggest awareness for which I got from the last couple of months. I become aware about myself, about the things I can influence, I can change in order to become a better person, and consequently better father, better leader, better husband. So
Yeah. And your fears, and your fears, my friend, your fears. Don't
fears as
forget to
well.
mention that.
Fears as well.
Fears,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Fears.
Fears as
Yes,
well.
yes, yeah.
We should seek for diverse learning experiences as well. We mentioned active listening.
Say it again. Sorry, I didn't hear you. You mentioned
Active listening. Active listening.
Oh,
active
yeah.
listening,
Sorry about that. Yeah,
listening.
definitely.
Empathy.
Empathy.
More
We have
focus
to
on
dedicate
people.
one of these. Yeah, we have to dedicate
More
one of these
focus on the
MERS.
people. More focus on the people.
Yeah, we have to
Be
dedicate
curious,
one.
be open-minded, to have a beginner's mind. You know what we have faced during the last year in this industry. That is the thing that we all should somehow put ourselves into beginner's mind and try to reinvent ourselves and our purpose and our business models
Yeah,
as well, and many different things. So
yeah,
yes, important thing from my point of view is also to integrate self-reflection into daily routine, and this is something what I missed, and this that's the area for improvement for myself personally, because due to lack of time, due to many different things on a daily basis, we often don't have a time to make a reflection, to stop, to find a quiet moment to have a conversation with ourselves and to see
yeah.
what have we done and what should we do.
You mentioned
Also,
mindfulness as well, and you mentioned mindfulness.
mindfulness.
Like I started doing this year, 5 to 10 minutes a day in the morning, thanks to one of my friends who's watching out there, the same person that I had this life-changing conversation with a couple of weeks ago in the States. Do you practice mindfulness? Are you doing it?
When I read, that's why I mentioned Positive Intelligence book, because that book has a good selection of simple wrap-ups for mindfulness, for exercising mindfulness. And this is something what really triggered me, because it doesn't require any extra effort to do that. You can do that while you are brushing your teeth, and you can do that nearly
in the car
all the
driving.
time. But it helps you to anchor yourself in that moment, and that was amazing discovery for me, because we all at the beginning of our careers, everybody are talking, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that, you should multitask, and it
Forget
somehow
about it.
we distract ourselves with too many things, and we become slaves of
the grind,
technology,
yes.
habits, many different things. So that was something what inspired me to try to change and to slow down, to be more aware of the things happening around me.
Yeah. One thing, my friend, because I don't want to, I think I've taken enough of your time. You are amazing, but hey, I want you to I want you to give us the last inspirational thing, and tell people, get the hell out of your comfort zone, start being an entrepreneur, start doing things, but they need to hear it from you. Would you recommend people with the lack of fear, with the fears, with their uncomfort, with not being comfortable with what they are, to go entrepreneurial? Well, say it. You have to say it.
The what Nike says, just do it. I would say just jump in. Just jump in.
Just jump in.
Just jump in.
Friends.
Because you are jumping all the time and the photos. So just jump in.
And stop complaining if you don't like
complaining.
what you're doing. Stop complaining.
Yeah.
You can always go back if you make mistakes.
We cannot change the world, but we can change our life. That's the
yes,
thing.
Indeed, my friend. Well, I think that's it. I like go to your family. You're a father. Go take care of them now. It's a pleasure, my friend. Dude, you have to come back. You are inspiring. You are a force of nature, man. Like, thanks to you for being you. Like, I've always followed you since day one. It's always great to have a beer with you. It's always great to talk about football with you, my friend. I hope to see you very soon again.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for considering me as somebody who is worthwhile for inviting to this kind of conversation.
Always, my friend. And to everyone watching, thank you so much for being here. We'll be back next week
and
with
also
an episode.
Thank you for all your positive energy you are sharing with the world.
Yeah, thank you, man. I have my shit as well to carry with, but I try to keep it positive as well. Course.
Everybody has, no worries.
So as I was saying, thanks to you, brother. Thanks to everyone watching. We'll be back next week with an episode of Translators on Air with my friend, colleague, the amazing Viveta. Also with another episode of Merging Minds. We're going to be interviewing another leader in our industry. That's it. Thanks. Adios.